one of the things I want to show you in close-up is a thing I mentioned in the last session, which I didn't really show you in close-up, but when you're doing a reasonably large piece of wavy quilting like this, you get you spend a lot of your time pulling it out from under the foot and putting it back again. So what I've started to try and do is keep it in, and then only take it out from underneath the foot when I get to the end of the strip, and then trim them all off and press them, and then onto the next strip. So I'll try and show you that in detail now. So it might be time to be a bit brave and put something, don't know, spotty in. Why not? Let's go for it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm putting a curve in as I go. Just follow what you think it should be. Don't worry about any rules. If you want to watch another video of this process in detail, then watch my Wavy Quilting in Scotland video, or one of the wavy bag. If you click on one of the wavy bag videos, I do this in a bit more detail. So let's say we're getting here to this joint here. So get the scissors and trim that off. Then put the needle in, and because I'm having to remember to be really careful on the treadle machine, because I automatically take my feet off on the electric machine, because I know obviously to do that, and because it's not electric, I'm a little bit lulled into a sense of security here, and I just kind of leave my feet on, and then it carries on going. So take the needle out, and then normally this is the point where you would take the work out of the machine, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to fold it over. Now obviously this is the thread still attached, so don't worry about the bottom thread, but pull your top thread out the way, and then fold this over as though you'd pressed it. That's not a very good example because I got a bit of a kink there, but never mind. Normally there wouldn't be a kink there. So there's the bit where you're going to add the next piece. So then get your next piece. Quite hard to do this while you're talking. I'll just get one of these. Get your next piece. And then slide that under the foot like that, and get your position. So obviously your position needs to be so that when you're sewing, you're going to be going over all your raw edges underneath. But the thing to remember with wavy quilting is, if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I keep calling it wavy quilting. I do actually mean wavy patchwork. No, I've put that the wrong way up, haven't I? I know, that's right. Because you can always fix it. And if you, so this is wavy patchwork. I call it wavy quilting. I mean wavy patchwork, because when you come to quilt it, you can go over a raw edge, and you can it doesn't notice. So it's not the end of the world if you don't do that seamlessly every time. So we're now going on to the next strip. Let's make this quite a short one so I can show you. So again, take the feet off, or take your foot off your pedal if you're on an electric machine. Lift the foot up and then fold it over without moving your work too much. Get hold of your top thread, because you're going to need that obviously, aren't you? Put it out of the way, fold that over like that, and then so this is where you're going to be putting your next strip. Now I'm going to use one of these little, so I've got a bowl here where I've put the offcuts, and that does make me put in smaller pieces, which is no bad thing, because it looks good with the design if you've got some small bits. Right, so here's a small bit. So we'll slide that under there, and that's a raw edge there, and that's a raw edge there. Get your next piece. Right sides together, slide it under your foot, and then imagine you have pressed that over there. And then, excuse my nails, I need to go and clean them. And then position that there and start sewing. What follows now is quite a lot of me sewing and just showing the progress of the patchwork making process without much commentary. Now, that's because in the comments, some people have said, well, just like the sound of the machine, etc. And I think either because of that or you were just watching this out of interest, or for you to see what it is actually like sewing for a period of time on a treadle machine rather than just a quick demo. Perhaps if you've got one and you've never really got round to using it, or you're thinking of renovating one, or perhaps acquiring one, for the same reasons that I did. You just want an old machine and quite like the idea of having a sewing machine that doesn't require electricity, might help you decide. So I'm kind of doing two things here. I'm trying to show what it's like actually sewing on a treadle machine for real, and I'm also trying to show you how to do wavy patchwork. But I just think it might be quite useful just for you to be able to watch them without me adding music, without me speeding it up, without me talking over it. So as I usually do, I'll put timestamps in. So if you're not interested, you can just fast forward and jump to the next bit where I'll explain a little bit more about I oil the wheel on the treadle and a couple of other things that I'm doing. And also I'll show you a little bit about the weather we've got. We've got Storm Eowyn, which has just arrived today. So it's the 24th of January 2025 in the northwest of England. We've been prone to power cuts caused by storms, bringing down trees. And it was an event like that that made me buy my treadle machine in the first place. this is easier. So just fold over the previous piece, put the next piece in, and then I'll just press them all at once. Getting this such a big piece of fabric out and back in to the machine under the foot is actually quite time consuming. So I'm doing the same thing again, which is slide it out, fold that under, retrieve the thread, top thread, whoops, without it coming out of your needle, hopefully. Out of the way, fold it over so you've pressed it, select another fabric, just cut this little bit here, slide that under, like that. We need to back up a bit, get all the raw edges in. It's only worth doing this kind of patchwork if you actually like the process. I can see that some people will probably find this incredibly tedious, but you compare this to a row of knitting, there's no comparison. I can finish this in half a day if I really want to. This is why I stress the fact that there aren't very many rules, because the reason I sew primarily is for fun. And I actually quite find this process quite therapeutic. So there isn't really much point doing this if you don't find it therapeutic. It will just be tedious. But I quite like the design process such as it is. I mean, I've got such a mixture of fabrics here. A lot of people wouldn't like that. But I'm enjoying myself and find it relaxing, and I'm going to use this when I've finished it as well, so it's all worth doing. Always lift up to check you're going under the raw edges, going over the raw edges underneath. There we go. Fold that over. Assume if you're still watching it, it's because you do like this. Otherwise you just switch off, wouldn't you? So get your thread out. That to one side. I'll choose my next fabric. I'm just getting everything out the scrap bowl here. The scrap bowl of the scrap bowl. Let's have a bit of green. Slide that under. And you might think, how on earth does she know where the raw edge is? Well, you do. You get to know where it is. Once you get doing this and get in your stride, you know, you kind of just instinctively know where the raw edge is. So you just need to make sure you back up enough. And it does help having narrower strips. I would say if you're going to have a go at this kind of patchwork, don't cut any strips wider than an inch, and it's easier to start with. I'm not going to do that all the way down to the bottom because I've just realised I've got another green there. So I'm going to stop that and fold that over. I've also done that a little bit too tight. Fold that over. Put that back under. There we go. Get my next one. A bit of slide it under. So I need to start there, so just back up a bit. Again, make sure you're not getting a big pleat in there. A little one doesn't matter, but a big one, it's harder to cover it up. There's my raw edges there, so I'm going to be sewing here. And if you feel that it's all getting a bit twisted and taut, do what you would do on any other kind of sewing. Put your needle in and take your foot up and reposition things so that they're lying flat. Last bit. It's the opportunity to use up one of these little tiny scraps at the bottom. Slide it under. Didn't get my thread out, did I? Back up a bit. Right, put some oil on the moving parts of the wheel, and I do remember cleaning this when I first got it, and I realise it's actually still quite dirty, and so that will be for another day, but I will be doing some cleaning, but I've so far managed to stop the squeak. So just showing you the storm brewing and my thoughts of whether our electricity is going to be disrupted again. You can hear it more than anything else, but it is quite about 60 miles an hour in gusts. So that's made me think about how much light there is in here. If I turn these three lights off, I'm quite near a window, and despite the wind, it's a very bright day. So here I am sewing with all those three lights still on. And I've got plenty of light, and I think you do get used to it. Here's the last of the three lights going off. So obviously you can still see you've got the daylight from the window, but obviously I'm not under the window, which I think you probably would do if you had no other light. And I actually can still see to sew, and as I was going on, I could feel my eyes getting accustomed to it. So it is still possible to sew, even if you're not right by a window. But I think the acid test would be How would you sew at night? Or maybe people in those days just never did. I don't know. You have one of these machines set up, and are you completely off grid? And do you have to sew by a window? Or do you sew with candlelight? I'd love to know. Thank you for keeping me company while I do my sewing today. I've finished the patchwork part of this project now, and I'm really looking forward to getting on with the glittery quilting. That will be in the next video, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it.